Hey, everybody, it's Friday. Take off your pants, kick the shoes off. We're being real relaxed today on Bombcast Revengeance, powered by NZXT. That's right. It may be 12 o'clock where I'm at, but it may be later where you're at. So light them up, boys and girls and NBs. Whatever you want to light up. Maybe it's a candle. Maybe it's a game scent of your choice. Make sure to share with your loved ones today. Folks, I'm Jada Cho, your host. Joined always, co-captain of the ship. He's smelling of various fragrances such as tire fires, clean, and what else do we got on the docket, Jeff Grubb?
Listen, every smell you could think of is happening in my basement. Anytime I'm live on the internet because of Dan Reichert, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about mommies and animals.
There we go. Leading expert in the field about all things about animals, Jeff Bakalar.
Hey, I'm an animal. I'm sorry. I'm listening. I'm just listening to some of the sounds going on in my house right now, and I feel like I need to address them. I'm not sure if there is an animal loose in my home, but something's happening in my home. I'm not. Yeah, this is not a work.
Isn't that just having a child? Like it could be an animal, could be your kid, or it could be like someone making ice cream.
Yes, you're exactly right. And also,
my wife used the Ninja Creamy, and it sounded like my children screaming for like an hour straight, but it was just the Ninja Creamy.
And there's two elderly people who live with me as well, so it's always...
Sure.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, I haven't, Shawn, my boy. I've not forgotten about that.
And last but not least, our own Ninja Creamy, Turbo Shawn McDonald.
What the ever love?
You know what that means.
Yeah, you know exactly.
Yeah,
what that
I
means.
am. I'm bringing the mommies today, I guess. We got animals, we got mommies, we have animals who are mommies. It's a whole thing. This is gonna be a wild show.
You drink the most milk out of all of us.
So you're not wrong. My bloodstream is just cream at this point.
There we go.
Do we think that people should burn this episode onto a CD and hand it to their mother for Mother's Day?
Oh, 100%.
Always.
There's no chance that things are gonna get nasty midway through that segment.
Hell yeah.
Or anything like
Love
that.
to hear it.
I gotta go download romantic music then. Back when I worked at the coffee shop, we would get like pretty big lines, and like one of our duties was to like call out to the line and be like, "Yo, what's up? Thanks everyone for waiting." And I think I shouted out the moms too much that I got a talking to on Mother's Day. I was like,
M's in chat.
Shouts out to the moms in line, and hey, shouts out to the single moms in line. And then
oh, there you go, Jay. You see, you just went one too far. You know, you were right on the line there. You teetered over.
and then yeah, I didn't realize that like there was someone from corporate in line checking out the store, and then they talked to my manager.
Hell
and
yeah.
my manager had to talk to me about like, hey, maybe stop singling out the single mothers.
that may have been your problem.
But I tried turning it around. I'm like, do we not appreciate the struggle that single mothers have?
Right there. Oh, I'm so glad you fought for the right of your
Women's Day.
Jeff Bakalar's taking care of who knows what
business. Yeah.
He is standing on business, as the children say.
On God.
On God.
For
Skibbity.
real.
Skibbity Ohio cringe.
Skibbity Ohio cringe. I saw another one that I wasn't quite familiar with. I'm gonna do my research, my anthropological research, before I bring it back to the table.
Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Someone was they were saying like, "Oh, yo, Luxy wears that." Like, that's totally a Lux. I'm like,
That's got to mean deluxe, right? Or luxurious.
Or I don't know if they were treating Lux like or Luxy like a person, not Lex.
I was gonna say, can we just say something's Lex if it's cool? Like,
yeah, there we go.
Lex wins, you know.
Yeah, not our own Lex Luddy, but Lux. And I was like, is this a person? I don't know. Also, I still do the tango of like in TikTok specifically. Sometimes when you open up the comment bar, it'll have like a blue suggested search thing, and I'll click it, not realizing sometimes it's a little scandalous.
Yeah, those things are often like, hey, we'll explain what's happening in this TikTok, and then the explainer is, here's a bunch of people's butts.
Yeah. So when my partner will like grab my phone for like innocent purposes and look at
Right.
TikTok, I'm like, No, I'm just researching.
Sometimes Finboys just shows up in your personalized trending feed for
no reason.
educational reasons.
You
Like
didn't do anything
I didn't, of
that
course.
would cause that. The
And yeah,
algorithm
what's
is-
the big deal? Why is everyone freaking out?
Yeah.
Jan, is this like that time where you accidentally Jesus Christ, where you accidentally wandered into a certain room on your MetaQuest 3? Is this like that?
Yes, it's exactly
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, totally
I
innocent.
totally understand how curiosity killed the cat, and in my case, walked in on people having a time on the internet. I wonder. I just don't want that to show up in my history. But
Well,
I'm
you
just
could do
so
things about
curious.
that. They give you the options to delete stuff from your history.
The problem is everything that I like, any public username I have is just my name now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like someone's gonna catch me in one of these rooms, and I'm just like
Mhm.
curious, and they're gonna be like, oh, I saw Jan in the mommy room on my medical.
Yeah, that's your problem. You gotta be hella incognito when you're online, dude.
Yeah. How's everyone doing? Grub, we said this at the beginning of UPF. It's been a week. It's
been a week. It has been a week. I am ready for the week to end. They should call it that, in fact. Yeah, it was just a lot of bad news, weird news. There's good games, at least, to talk about and stuff, so we'll get into that. But mostly I'm just like, run down from all this, and I want to like sit down in a beanbag and not move for like an hour straight.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I got time this weekend, might try and actually hit the disc golf links.
Yeah, like I was telling you, I found a rundown course and I was kind of bummed out, so I didn't even try it. I'm gonna like see. That was the closest one to my house, so I'm just gonna like go to the one that's better rated on like discgolfmaps.com or whatever the hell I was using. Yeah, Frolf Maps. Yeah.
Don't call it Frolf.
No, Shawn, you know this. We mess up the English language on a consistent.
I am well aware of this, Jan. Don't you worry. I realized I had this moment the other day when I realized that Balatro is actually pronounced Balatro, and I thought about it. I'm like, well, why would that? Why is everyone saying, oh, right, because Jan and Grub are the people I've heard pronounce this game's name out loud. And you started this whole thing in the industry. That's why everyone was calling it Balatro instead of the actual word. It's just a word, guys.
Exactly. It's just a word. Is it a clipboard or is it a clipboard?
Yeah, well, we get to decide.
Are we going to Chipotle or going to Chipotle, you know? Another thing I've started saying, and to infuriate people, is instead of saying Popeyes, the popular fried chicken chain, I'll say Popeyes.
That one's challenging.
I don't like that.
I find that one very challenging.
There's appropriation in there somewhere. I don't know where. But
I know. But it's fine. I'll walk this line. I'll walk this line until I get canceled. I'm vamping mostly because I hope Backlar is okay. I think he would have slacked us if anything.
You know what? I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about this yet. I am huge into frisbee golfing. It's very fun.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Should have known. Just looking at you, should have known.
Look at me. I'm a disc golf kind of guy. No, in high school, it was it was starting to like really take off back then. And so me and my friends, Jen, are you scratching your head with a lighter? I'm sorry.
I was trying to light a candle and then
you have so much product in your hair. I'm very worried.
It's all natural. It's just standing up today.
Okay. Frisbee golfing, disc golfing, frolfing, whatever you want to call it. It's very fun. That's just how me and my friends would get a little exercise in the summer. We'd just grab drivers. We would just use those and just like walk out there to the course, just toss them around for a little while. It was a lot of fun.
Nikki says Dolph, and that's what I'm calling it from now on.
Dolph.
Okay, yeah, disc golf. Yeah, well, Dolph, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Would you just you said you just pack a couple drivers, Shawn, and just
just the one. Yeah. So some of my friends would bring a putter as well, but usually it's all you need is the driver. You gotta find one that plays to your throwing style. Like I can only throw. I'm right-handed, and the way I throw a frisbee or a disc, I can only throw it with a curve. So you need to like find a disc that like plays into that. You either need to go extra wide, or you need to get one that like has less curve, so it like mitigates that. And all the ratings you guys were talking about, the numbers and stuff, when you go to buy one, we're talking about on the Bombcast.
Right.
That's what it's all about. You got to find the one that plays into you. Also, maybe find a different throwing style. You throw it underhand. And sometimes that's how you like one of the courses we sometimes go to, a lot of trees on the right hand side. Obviously, I can't curve into that. So you throw it underhand and it reverse curves around the trees.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun once you. It's kind of like yo-yos. Once you figure out the tricks and everything, it's fun.
Well, now you're speaking my language.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna say like yeah, I think I'm also an orthodox thrower. But I think I did it once. I did the like little underhand like "Pachoo" type of toss.
It's
That's
tricky, dude.
That's the type of sound it makes in my head. God, we gotta go disc golfing. I don't know if there would not be a close course in LA for sure.
Really?
Yeah, but we could just
Like
set
anywhere?
one up. We could just build our own. That's what
Yeah.
Boy Scouts do, I think.
You actually can. You they have like pop up because all it is you just need like basically a pole and a hoop at the end of the day.
Bird
So,
prison.
Yeah, you can actually just like set those up and
Nikki says there is one, so there we go.
Okay.
you go.
I was gonna say like how I've solved a lot of problems lately is I will just slack Emma.
Yeah, me too.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh,
And
you've already thought of this before I've even thought
Right.
of it.
Or she'll be like, well, oh, honey, okay, talk to this person then. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, it's nice.
When I first started working with the crew and y'all said, what did we do before Shawn? That's now the feeling I have with Emma. Like, what did we do before Emma?
Yeah, it's like, oh God, when we're left to our own devices, just nothing. Stuff happens. It's just, you know.
Game sense going off again.
Oh boy.
I thought
dude.
I thought he didn't realize that we were still live, so I thought it was safe, but I'm wrong.
He's 100% big chilling in the big comfy chair, just laughing his
Yeah,
ass
he says,
off.
nah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Bekalar's dead.
It's
Yeah,
safe to assume at this point.
I'm looking in Slack. I don't see anything. I don't have my phone on me.
Well, let's just talk about games here. But first, actually, I'm just noticed because I do have this camera set up. My hair is starting to curl a lot in the back. It's
Oh,
like
it is.
really popping off back there. I didn't realize that.
It used to be back in the day.
Yeah, I know, but it's like I didn't realize it was that long again. I mean, it's going off. It's like a broccoli back there.
Oh boy. Yeah, it is like a little bit broccoli. You're gonna
Yeah.
Why isn't the camera focused on the game scent? I don't know, Dan. You're out. You're right. You know what? I apologize to you.
I think that warrants like a bad scent.
Yeah, sure. Why not? What's the difference at this point?
You gonna get that cut before SGF, Greg?
I think I'm gonna get the sides trimmed down. Yeah, for sure, and they'll probably clean up the top.
Okay. Well, let's talk about video games. A bunch of indie games came out.
So
Jen.
many.
All on the same day or within days
Pretty close.
of each other?
This
Like
week,
within a
basically.
week, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. If you tuned in earlier today for UPF, Grub and I checked out 2 of them. We won't talk about Animal Well just
Yeah,
yet,
we'll save
because-
Animal Well if Jeff Bakalar resurrects from the dead.
Yeah. Everyone add in 5 mana to the pool, please, and then we'll have enough to raise the dead
Spirit
spell.
bomb. Yeah.
But the last game we checked out today was Crow Country. It is a isometric survival horror game, very much evoking PS1 vibes with its art style and everything. We checked it out for like 30 or so minutes, and in that early time, I was enjoying it to an extent. I think my only drawback with that type of game, and Grub, you nailed it when we were playing it, is that it seems like the type of game that will go by exponentially so much faster once you figure out the loop of or the order of the puzzles.
Yeah.
And I don't, as you know, very early in the game, and it's kind of throwing a lot at you that I wish there was maybe a clipboard of sorts or a journal of like, oh, okay, I got to get this key, I got to get that key, I got to get this key and head over here and that. We did check it out very briefly, so maybe there is some type of tracking system that you unlock further in.
I think people are like, well, just take notes yourself. But I think what you were saying, what I would be saying if I were you playing that game, it's like, I don't know always what is important. I'm not going to write down everything because then the notes become useless to me. And I'm not a note taker anyhow. But if I were, I'd be like, okay, I guess I'll write down this thing. And then here's a whole letter. Is this just world building, or do I need the details from this? So should I be doing shorthand, like recreation of this letter down here in my notes? And it's like, I kind of want the game to be like, no, this is important. Have that. Now, I haven't played the game. I get the sense, Jan, like had we kept like brute forcing some of this stuff, eventually it's like we're going to learn what matters and learn how like the language of the game to be able to take in all that information in a more efficient way. But the way that it looks and the way that it's going for that PS1 survival horror vibe, I think they really got most of that. I think I do. The characters don't necessarily like look what I think of when I think of those kinds of games. It is that is a little bit off, but everything else is perfect. And I don't think the characters are bad looking. They're still charming in their own way. It's just not what I was expecting from this kind of game. And overall, I think they nailed it.
The visuals are definitely going for a different type of PS1 game. Like me and Mike were talking about with you last night. It's very much FF7 is what they're going for.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Specifically, not even necessarily the character models themselves, even though they kind of look like that, but like a lot of the pre-rendered stuff.
The pre-rendered, like the flags. I noticed that like that popped off to be so much like a pre-render Final Fantasy background. It was wild.
Yeah, and so just sort of in real time with 3D graphics, it's going for that sort of rounded, sometimes almost like bulbous, how everything is like slightly bulging in a odd ways.
Characters, almost like Duplo blocks, not like the Lego minifigs, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they really nail the design that they're going for there. It's a different kind of take on the PS1 survival horror because we have so many that are just Resident Evil. It's really cool to see one that goes for a slightly different style. I really like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Greg, you mentioned before we start playing it, the ad campaign looks like an old video game ad, and I pulled that up in between, and went, oh man, this just hits a certain way.
Yep, I'm very much in that mood right now. Like I'm going back. Like one of the things I did this week was install Windows 98, and I'm looking at old video game magazines, and a lot of that's just like, oh, video game industry feels kind of messed up in a lot of ways right now. So I'm going to go to my happy place a little bit. And I really appreciate games that like are coming out right now that are doing that same thing. That also feels like a good retreat into a space that feels safe and cut off from all of the nonsense that's happening everywhere else. And so when they're able to capture that and they know they're going for it, and then they have that fun little ad that plays into that, it's like, okay, this is just hitting all the notes for me.
What do you think would be like the next trend? Because I feel like people that grew up with the PS1 have been emulating that art style now for a while. We've kind of gone a little bit of like the polygonal, super chunky N64 style as well.
Oh yeah.
Are we eventually going to transition to like what is a PS2?
I think we get some stuff that like tries to go for Dreamcast. I think we've had a few things like that. But you're right. You're right. Once we sort of get to like PS2, GameCube, Xbox, that's like proto HD at a certain point, and it's hard to tell the difference. I think a lot of that is vibe and music. There is a certain like a set of audio that a lot of games used, and like you can kind of pull those things off. And I don't think it'd be impossible. I think a strong art director would be able to make that happen. Sure. But it's a little bit more difficult than the game definitely looks like a PS1 game.
Yeah, I think when we talk about why does Nintendo not put GameCube on Virtual Console, NSO, whatever they want to call it, I think that's the reason, is because that era of gaming is the beginning of modern gaming. Sure. So it makes more sense to remaster even something from the 4x3 era, because it kind of just looks like what we have nowadays, just lower fidelity. Whereas something, even just the previous generation, even something as powerful as the N64, looks radically different than just one generation up. So I think that's like the dividing line is about 2000 there.
Yeah, I would have really enjoyed getting to, because my experience with the Pokemon game Gale of Darkness is pretty much just going over to my friend's house and watching him play, because I didn't have a GameCube. But yeah, you're right, Shawn. I think translating that, they'd either have to do a lot more work, or it just wouldn't look as impressive if they just did an HD remaster. But Crow Country, the only thing that feels off for me personally is the shooting. I wish there was only like an X axis to point at versus like having control going up and down with the shooting as well. But that's a very minor thing. I think also I just tend to panic when you're kind of locked in shooting versus being able to move a bit.
Yeah, that's deliberate, part of the genre, but I know what you mean. Yes.
Or if there was just like an auto aim in that direction, like you had in a Silent Hill or Resident Evil, right? Where you're kind of just locked into that spot. And as long as you're kind of facing it and the enemy's in the same plane as you, and you can bop them.
Sort of a pseudo lock on.
Yeah. Another thing that I've been playing way too much of, and I don't know if y'all have had the opportunity to also dip into, is Hades 2.
Of course.
Yep. I definitely fell into the one more turn thing where I was like, okay, will I spend a lot of time with this right now? There's a lot of stuff I want to be playing, and there's no rush here, even though this is something I was very much looking forward to. I'm not putting in it like, oh, I got to play all this right now. And then I did my second play session with it, and I couldn't put it down. So it is the game I want to be playing the most right now. Even then, I'm like, oh, I'll make some time for a lot of these other indie games that are coming out. But boy, Hades 2 just is spectacular.
Yeah, and we talked about this on the Bombcast earlier this week with Nikki, but like it's really nailing the loop very well, because introducing, I was a little bit annoyed at first when when I saw that you had to like kind of juggle the different resources that you're collecting from run to run, but having to manage, okay, well, I don't want to bring the pickaxe out because I've plenty of silver, I have plenty of the other materials you unlock. Let's go use like the spirit thing so we can unlock more of our cast, or the how many tarot cards you can use. It spices that up. I don't know if I like the sprint. The sprint is new in this, right?
So it's okay. So I don't think the sprint is necessarily new, but the dash is different, and so the dash into sprint probably feels different. I thought you could sprint in the last one. I think so, but the dash is definitely different. I think the dash was much more back to back to back in the last game. And in this game, it's a dash, and then you get a little shadow behind your character, and then once that shadow zoops back into her, you can dash again. Yeah, and like Nikki says, you could sprint in the last one and just didn't do anything, and now they have definitely boons that are like, hey, if you're sprinting, you can destroy any sort of projectile sent at you, and that will hurt whoever sent the projectile at you. So it's like being incorporated into the combat loop, so you're much more aware of it. The dodge is, or the dash is something you're going to have to get used to, I think. Once they explained to me that shadow mechanic of visually and audio, and the audio is happening as well, of okay, everything is back to normal now you can dash again. I'm like getting into the rhythm of that, but before that it was like, oh man, I'm in the shit, let me dash out of this, why can't I dash? I'm getting hurt, this sucks. It's like in that moment it felt pretty bad, but now that I'm getting used to it, I think I like it. But I do wonder if this is something they're going to dial in a little bit in early access if enough people are complaining.
I really enjoy the folks at Supergiant because I don't want to spoil anything. I saw our good old buddy Christian from Argentina tweeting some very curious screenshots about Hades 2, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And let me just say, you might, in your little town area, your little hub area, you unlock a certain thing to spend time with your companions in, just some one-on-one time. And it's a little bit like, oh, this game's not finished yet, but these parts seem finished. So it's curious as to what the priorities were over there.
Okay. So I'm someone who isn't big on early access games for any particular reason other than I just
you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, see, this is why I can't say anything about it, because I have this man in my life. Just because I don't replay single player games. It's just the way my brain works. I just almost never go back to games. Even my favorite games in the world, I probably played less than 10 times each. So for me, I was thinking I'll just wait for 1.0. But then Mike, who also is the same way, he's like, yeah, I want to play whatever the 1.0 is, whatever they call the finished game, for no particular reason. He said it seems pretty feature complete, at least to him. So I guess my question to you guys is, what, obviously without spoilers, what is missing at this point? Like, why is it early access?
There's a couple bits where certain character portraits just don't exist yet. And I think that is where the game feels slightly incomplete. Okay. And for me personally, and I could just attribute this to luck of the draw, but it seems like the boon variety, at least where I'm at with the game, isn't super diversified just yet. But for the most part, it feels like a whole ass game. And then like it'll throw me into bits. It'll throw me into bits where I've been in the same repetitive loop where I feel like, oh, I know what to expect here, and then it'll throw like a wrench in those gears of like, oh, you can do that.
Okay. So like, is the story like, does
I
it
think
have
the
an
stories.
ending?
You know what it feels like to me? It feels like the only time I've ever seen one. This is going to be a bad example because the movie's bad, but that X-Men Origins Wolverine, that work print that leaked,
Okay.
where it's like everyone downloaded that version of it's like this is the movie, but some of the special effects are incomplete or something like that. So you got the story and everything was there. Just occasionally in this game, you might see something. It's like, oh, this is placeholder or something.
Okay.
So
So they're basically treating it almost like a beta for a single player game.
a little, yes, a little bit. I think the reason they would go with early access is that like they want the feedback and they want that explicitly to be the
Right.
reason that they're doing this.
It worked
I
also
also
the first time, so that's why I assume
Yeah.
they're doing it again.
and I think they're going to add a lot. I think there will be more story tacked on, but the way that it's being presented, the way it feels like it's working, is like that's almost like a DLC, like new chapter or something like that in a
Okay.
lot of ways.
Okay, gotcha. I probably will end up checking it out alongside all the other indies I have to play now
Yep,
over this
I know what
weekend,
you mean.
next week.
Thank God Jeff Baclar is here. Jeff Baclar, are you
Listen up,
okay?
Gabe.
I've returned. I'm sorry that's very odd for a podcast, but I have returned. Everything's fine. Everything.
We're
is
just glad
fine.
you're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, everything's fine now. I appreciate the concern. I see your message. I didn't have my phone. It's just look. There's certain things I'm just not gonna be able to tell anybody about.
No, that's
And,
fine. Yeah, we
fair,
get it.
totally fair.
Like I said, just glad you're okay.
Yeah, everything's cool. Everything is mostly fine. Okay, what's up? What'd you talk about? What I missed?
We haven't talked about Animal Well. You want to talk about that?
Hey.
Animal well.
All right, yeah. There's a lot I want to talk about. I guess with Animal Well. First off, I think that game's very good. I think it's a lot of fun. I think the way I've been describing it to people is sort of like, what if you had, a lo-fi Metroidvania, but like with the sensibility of like a Tunic, where where the game most certainly is aware that it's a game and it's just sort of having a little bit of fun with its own self-awareness. I think.
When does that start popping off later in the game? Like not like I'm a couple hours in.
I don't think it's as over the top and heavy-handed as Tunic.
Okay.
Where like Tunic would look you in the eye and like wink,
Right, like here's a page of a video game manual.
Totally.
It's not like
I
that.
think it's much more subtle here. And look, like I just think it's like I like the take of it where it's doing, it's not completely breaking any kind of like mold, but I do like the sort of modular puzzleification Metroidvania that it's doing, where it sort of gives you, the sort of like presentation is like, okay, you're gated in certain areas, but also this room you're in is like its own little puzzle right here. And,
Right.
And it's like this very rectangular, framing puzzle, and you don't have to go anywhere else to do it, and it's going to be right here, and you got to figure that out. And I think maybe it's my like endless desire to feel in control. I don't know what that is, or whatever it is, but
You okay, buddy?
yeah, no, I mean, like that's a thing. I gotta feel like I'm in control. And it does that for me. I think it gets away with like a lot of clever visuals too, right? It has those like deliberate scan lines, and I think there's some really neat sort of effects that pop off in the game that I'm appreciating from the sort of like neon haze presentation of the whole thing. Also, outside of this game, which I've not finished, but I play a lot every day. I've been playing on my Steam Deck of all places.
Yeah, it's great on there.
And Dib has also gotten very much into it too.
Oh, okay, cool.
He feels the vibes. He's into it. He also
Okay.
he's been saying like Tuesday, buddy. Tuesday, is that a thing? What is that?
Well, he knows what
he
the Giant
is.
Bombcast
He said
is.
Tuesday.
Yeah, he's saying-
special plays, special teams, special
Oh,
plays,
it's
special
that.
players.
Yeah, he's saying
What's up,
Tuesday.
brother?
What's up, brother? Tuesday.
brother?
What is that?
Tuesday. That's fucking Sketch, the Twitch streamer. He streams a lot of Madden, and he's awesome.
Okay.
He's like the
Cool.
best
Are
trash
you
talker in the
fuck-
history of the world. Tell him I said special teams, special plays, special players. All right.
I will. He doesn't watch this guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's viral.
It's permeated.
everywhere.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Tuesday.
This is your week, Sketch. So So yeah, like he's into it. He gets it. This is what I found to be really fascinating to me. Picked up the controller and was like, "Oh yeah, okay. Oh, you have a firecracker? How many firecrackers do you have? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sick. Okay." And this
He's a
game
savant.
speaks. Yeah, it's just easy, right? Like, you just pick it up and you're like, "I get it. I'm into it." I also think if we could zoom out just a little bit and I could put on my big boy hat, I think this game is going to kind of like bring with it a kind of, I don't want to like inject too much importance into this because it is just one
Ooh.
independent game.
But it sounds like it's a Jeff Backler important game of the year.
It's most certainly important more because of, I think, what it like represents. I think there's a lot of, I think this is going to be the game that a lot of people sort of like pin the ownership of, like, yeah, remember when they stopped making $50 million games and Animal Well came out? I think like the sort of like publisher disruption thing that everyone is sort of like trying to figure out how to square in retrospect will be sort of like the emotion and the energy of that pendulum change. I think it's going to get
part
injected
of this
into Animal
trend,
Well.
right? Where it's like, you
Yeah.
know, Balatro or Balatro, is that how it says, Sean? Is that
I don't know.
Balatro.
Balatro?
Balatro and then Pal World and this and a handful of other things that are coming out this year that are just crushing, and they're picking up a lot of attention, and they don't seem like they cost the world to make. It's like if these games can keep doing that, it's not just some like dalliance. It really can change things.
Yeah, and like I said, I think it's already changed. I think there's already money. I think like the people who are like sort of looking where to invest and where to be smart with their spending have, like, you know, I think this is already built into the market, if that makes sense, right? A little bit.
I mean, I think it's kind of like, but the trouble with this has always been like, oh, hit-driven business. It's so hard to pick which ones are going to be
Exactly.
hits.
Yeah.
But
when
you know,
when it's a lower stakes, right? I think it's
Right.
an easier pill to swallow, and I think that's what maybe something like an Animal Well brings with it. Now, look, I feel like a lot of the conversation right now is like, this game's reviewing really well, and everyone seems to really like it. I don't know what the sales are. Like, I don't know, and I don't think we have that data yet.
I think it was #1 on Steam.
Okay.
Wow.
So like, but what does that translate to?
That's very good. That's
Sure.
Just, that means
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot. It's a lot of cash, is what that means.
Good. Okay,
because
great.
You have to like, you have to make more money than the Steam Deck, which is usually #1. And I don't think it's #1 at the moment, but it was. You know, the Steam Deck is, you know, $400 a pop, and those things are selling very well. And this thing is not $400, so yeah, it was doing very well.
And people are pointing out it's in one of the PlayStation Plus tiers, and if PlayStation paid for that,
Sure.
those rights, that's money in the bank right there.
Well, that's
so.
a testament to Donkey Publishing and that stuff,
true.
right? So, yeah, I think that's dope. I think it's very encouraging. I think, I think everyone's taking notice in the right way, and hopefully that leads to a more favorable environment for everyone who is a creative and sort of like, stands to benefit from this. So
Yeah, I don't think it like changes the calculus of like, oh, the indie apocalypse and there's 10,000 indie games.
Sure.
But it does show that there is clearly a pathway. If you have good taste and you can spot the good games and you can kind of get out of its way and make all the right choices of making sure you're promoting the game a little bit, but you're giving people time to review it. You're talking to the right people, bringing it to a lot of shows. It had a lot of demos at a lot of different shows. They just made all the right choices with this thing. And this at least shows that can pay off. It maybe won't every time, but it did this time, and that's great.
yeah, and let's not forget, right? Like, good game, good. You know, like that's always going to be a thing too. Let's not forget, good game, good, and that's more than half the battle. So,
Yeah, it's got 1,500 reviews on Steam, which is pretty good. I mean, for comparison, Hades 2's got 20,000 already reviews, but that thing is a rocket ship. So
It's also a sequel to like a well-known game.
Oh,
exactly,
for
yes.
sure.
Hades 2 is a completely different case.
it's positioned.
Animal Well also just released yesterday.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So and then Hades was earlier in the week. So
was on
who knows,
Monday.
over the weekend, Animal Well might blow up, being in the conversation with all these other indies over the weekend.
And yep, it's overwhelmingly positive too. So that's what those
It
reviews
is,
are.
yeah.
It's fun. It's really good. Like I think it's a fresh enough take on an established thing that there's a comfort food in there too, a little bit, and there's just the right amount of creep factor as well.
Yeah. Oh, those animals are weird and I'm like I kind of hate them, but I like the way that I hate them.
Yep.
I am enjoying it, Bacular, but I am also waiting for that wow moment still. I'm definitely like I get it with like I started doing this puzzle that was multi rooms and like everything was affecting one another, and I was like, oh, it's taking me up here so I can do this, and that will take me back there, and I did that on stream, and that was clicking into place. But okay, this is cool. I definitely am enjoying myself. I am like still wondering, like, man, why do people love this that much? That hasn't happened yet, but I think I'm still pretty early. Like I did the bubbles that put me inside the mouth of those little guys that hang on the wall. That's the puzzle I just did. So I'm pretty early still, right?
You did all the yo-yo stuff?
I just got the yo-yo, and that I started doing the first major puzzles with the yo-yo.
Yeah, I mean, I think like to me, it's like that's the sort of like step up experience where
it definitely feels like it's like ramping up at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's what it is. I also don't think it's going to like, I don't think it's going to have a moment that everyone is just sort of like, what? It was inside the eyeball this whole time, like that kind of thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I think a lot of it is just the sort of the moment that you are inside of it, right? And that's good enough, and that's fun. Yep. And there is not as much of that, you know.
No, definitely not.
Because I think like it's one thing to make the vibe, and it's one thing to sort of like have a lot of it, but like to get everything clicking, right, and all those planets and stars to line up like that, I think is the achievement for sure.
There was a lot of criticism when it was originally announced that Donkey was going to get into video game publishing, and having a massive audience online doesn't always translate to customers per se, right? Like I've seen the stories multiple times of like an influencer on TikTok, Instagram, wherever else will have like 5, 10, 20 million subscribers, followers, whatever. And when they release a clothing line, no one will show up, right? None of those people are there. Do you think it is slightly different because of the gaming audience is kind of more invested in the activity of gaming versus something like, I don't know, someone that is just like a normal influencer, however fucked up that sounds?
Well, I don't think the relationship that Donkey has with, the game is like sort of a victim to any sort of like inauthentic kind sort of thing. Like I think that's the biggest part is like
he's letting the game speak for itself in
exactly
a lot of cases.
Yeah. And that's what I do think a lot of these people, the investment is looking for is that authenticity, right? So like you have a lot of people who seem to be trying to break into it through brute force, being like, hey, I've got the following, I've got the pull, I've got the influence, and I like video games, right? And it's like, no, that's not enough. I think you also have to have like the sort of like understanding and the kind of relationship. And I think that's what separates it all. Like, look, the next the next big mode game, maybe it doesn't work, right? I don't know. But like, good games are good, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But good games are good. And if this is the first, step, like, why would you not have faith in the next one?
Yeah. And I never really had like that reaction to the Donkey announcement of big mode. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What does publishing need? Someone that like kind of does understand games and can get attention, and Donkey can definitely do that. And we'll see. And it definitely worked out that way.
Totally. Yeah, it makes sense. It just makes sense.
A game that I briefly checked out, and it's one of those games that I don't want to talk too much about, is Indika. Lucy James mentioned this earlier this week on Game Mess Mornings. I'll just say it is kind of, apparently it's a very short game, but it is like a psychological horror walking simulator. Where,
my life.
What's so scary about you walking around? What's happening?
You're a
religion.
Nun. Yes.
Oh, okay.
You play as a nun,
you get it.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of content warnings. It's funny because I see all of the Catholics flocking to this game.
Mm-hmm. You do? Yes, and the stoners because they think it's a weed strain.
Yes,
so
yes.
Oh,
It kind of
God.
is if you play it, man. I haven't checked it out myself, but I watched someone else play it, and it is trippy. Some of the stuff that happens.
Yeah. Very early in, and had some like light, tense thriller moments. I haven't gone to the insane bits that I've seen even from the screenshots of the game, but very excited to keep checking it out, especially because Lucy said that it's one of her top games of the year so far. And, like,
Really?
this is a really stacked year.
Well, she went to Catholic school, right?
Yeah, so did I. So it's like, oh man, birds of a feather, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, to give you an idea for the kind of wild stuff that happens in this game, within the first like 10 minutes or so in one of the cutscenes, the main character is like wigging out, and she looks over and it sees like a tiny human being like crawling out of someone's mouth and like hopping out and onto someone else. And it is just weird. It's
a David Lynch movie, is what
horror.
you're saying.
Sure.
I think it feels. Sorry, you finish on.
I was thinking like Doctor Strange, the new one. Like a lot of that. What was that? Sam Raimi?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of that type of like psychological horror thriller type stuff.
It reminds me of the director Ari Aster, the guy behind Hereditary and
and the new
the Joaquin Phoenix movie.
Yeah, what is it like? Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Where it's like, who hurt you?
Yeah. It's like, why did your brain come up with this? What's happening here?
And why are we funding this? Right?
Sure.
No, I'm kidding. I like weird shit. I'm the first to line up for that. So
this is the game for you then.
Yeah, I think I have to play this.
Another game that I have on my radar because it's been picking up a lot of positive buzz is 1000X Resist.
Yes.
I have no idea what this game is about, but a friend of the site, Natalie Flores, was writing about this, and my ears are piqued. I'm interested. I have no idea.
Yeah, they said it's like one of the greatest games they've ever played, and
people seem really into it.
Yeah. This is one I feel like we've seen in a sizzle reel somewhere, so it was like on my radar, and because when I saw people tweeting about it, I'm like, I've seen this. I know this game. This is a game I wanted to check out when it was out. And you look at Steam, you look at the screenshots. It is very anime, very sci-fi, futuristic stuff. All things that are up my alley. And I don't even know what the game is. It's one of those games where the way people are talking about it, I'm just gonna dive in this weekend and not knowing anything. Like, you look at the Steam reviews and people are even saying like, I don't really want to say anything. I just want to say this game is a masterpiece and like, you need to check it out.
I have like, all right, I'll do it. Anything else anyone has been playing before we let Jeff Backlar go?
I didn't add much to what we have here because I've just been so busy with other stuff. I haven't had much time to play stuff. A lot of fighting games because I got a tournament at the end of the month, Combo Breaker. I'll be there. If you're there, say hi. So I'm a lot of Tekken 8, a lot of Street Fighter, and some older stuff that I'm getting back into, like Killer Instinct. But otherwise, my secret project, I like to bring secret projects to the table, especially maybe people caught on to this, but when I'm playing embargoed games, I can't talk about them. I like to bring my secret projects to the table. Or the past weekend, I got a lot of CRT shaders going on retro games.
I had the same project like a year ago, and I love this. I'm so glad you're doing this because especially I didn't have the LG OLED TV that you have. It's going to look so good on there, Shawn.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I knew going in because when I was working my crappy retail job several years ago, I made sure to save up, scrimp and save for an entire year for two things: the big comfy chair people see back there, and a big old LG OLED TV, so I could do stuff like this. So,
nice.
The perfect black levels, and then you got HDR going. I can have basically a CRT blown up to 55 inches. It is wild. Yeah, I tried out a variety of shaders. I found one I really like in a shader preset pack that I loaded into RetroArch. And it I was saying to Grub the other day, the test for me of if you have a good CRT filter, shader, whatever, is in Sonic the Hedgehog, specifically Sonic 1. They have a waterfall that is dithered, so like every other line roughly is nothing. It's like transparent. And so if that appears to be a transparent layer, it looks like water flowing over the background, you have a good shader on your hands. Found one that does that, and I set that. load up a bunch of other retro games, and it looks wild. I'm so happy
Hell
to
yeah.
set this up, because now
Yeah,
that I have it
CRT
set up and
Royale.
tweaked, I used that initially, but then I'm trying to think of which one. It's cyber something. It's like a username. Cyber.
Post some like once you get it, once you have like fully going.
Sure.
Do some like actual photos with your phone up against the LG TV, and then share which one it actually is.
Oh yeah, I will. It's
Okay.
again, it's cyber something. The composite one. So if people want,
It's not in. It's not in RetroArch automatically. You need to add the CRT Royale.
Yeah, you just download some CRT Royale base but all these customized ones that people do, you need to just download basically a preset file. It's very easy once you have RetroArch going. You just like put them in a folder. That way, when you go in RetroArch, you just like select that one from the shader option, loads it up, and it just does everything for you. It's very good. And
one of the coolest things about it is like you can like have a fake bezel, and it'll do reflections off the bezel.
Yeah, that's
cool.
a mega bezel. I'm not a huge fan of that because I like sitting in my nice dark room and just having a CRT effect, and it just looks like I have a giant CRT in my room.
Right, but then for me that was like, oh, this is the dumb nostalgia hit I didn't know.
It does like
I needed.
reflections on the bezel and everything. I can see why you'd like it.
Yes.
The reason you want like a big 4K TV is because what it actually does, the shader does, is it simulates the RGB of each individual pixel, because you have so many to work with, and a retro game is only 240p, so all those individual pixels on a 240p canvas, your 4K TV can simulate the red, the green, and the blue of each one, and then filter those.
That's cool.
That's how you get CRT effects without necessarily buying a RetroTink 4K that you try to get your boss to expense for you.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. Fuck.
Yeah, that process sounds like this plugin that I downloaded for DaVinci Resolve to emulate film grain. So it's like pretty much just kind of like stacking the image on top of itself, and like a couple of the stacks are just like, let's just fuck it up.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
Epos Vox loves doing stuff like that and all of his stuff, and so that's how I learned about some of this too. And yeah, just I know people love their raw pixels, but when you see a properly shadered, filtered CRT effect, you immediately say, "Oh, this is what this art is supposed to look like. This is what they were going for." Yes, back in the day. So it
makes a huge difference.
It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
So it's better.
Yeah, it is. Messing it up
literally is
in
better.
just the right way makes it look better because it's the intended look by the devs.
It would be like adding a smooth filter to impressionist paintings. It's not the exact same thing, but it's the same kind of idea.
What, you have like a tutorial for all this stuff?
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff out there. Sean probably has.
You look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like YouTube stuff that I definitely followed in the past.
Yeah, you search for on YouTube for like RetroArch CRT shaders, and people have plenty of tutorials of a variety of different ones, and show you how to set it up.
Oh,
cool.
Dan's winning this poll about does he need a RetroTink 4K expense?
Oh, he could. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
with the one option.
You mean the poll that like matters anywhere? No, it doesn't.
He doesn't even know how to make a poll. How do you do that?
I think Nikki might have helped him with that
all
one.
of a sudden, all of a sudden he knows how to do something. That was mean.
Nikki may or may not have made this poll. Yes.
Too real. Too real.
Who can say?
Dib and I finished the TV part of the NES console Lego.
Oh, that's fun.
Cool.
And I gotta say, that thing's fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really neat.
The fucking engineering that went into that. I know it's just a bunch of little pieces, right? And it's it's so good. Like I showed my dad because he's here.
Sorry.
And like that was the first time I feel like that was the first time he's been impressed in like 20 years.
Oh,
That's amazing.
He was like, what? He's like, what is
where
this
you get it from.
sorcery? He's like, what is this? Lego's doing this now?
Legos are impressive to all ages, though, so that checks out.
Yeah, like for sure. But it's just what an unbelievable thing that is. Yeah. So now we got the NES console itself next, and we'll blast our way through that.
Thank you for that update.
Dark Echo.
Oh hell yeah! Let's go. Collecting belts left and right.
Mr. Backlar, you got a gas break dip out of here, don't you?
I do. Everyone have a great weekend. Thank you for humoring me and
Thanks,
dealing
Jerv.
with my bullshit.
Glad you're
here
safe.
today. Yeah.
Yeah,
likewise.
we're just glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Likewise. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye. Love you. See you. Bye.
Love you too.
Bye. Oh, oops. Now people can see what was behind Jeff. Do you gents need a quick bricky break before we get to the hot topic of the week? Or you get to keep rolling?
A small one.
Small break.
One? All right.
Yeah,
all right.
small.
Let's fade to black real quick. We'll see you right after this.
Dark Echoes.
Today's hot topic. I do. Hold on. Let me fix this. There we go. We'll remove the dark echo from my soul. Hot topic on Bombcast Revengeance: moms. I had this throwaway idea earlier in the week, and then I thought, I can only think of Cooking Mama as an actual.
Yeah, you're a coward, Janet Show. Don't worry, we know.
Because I was just thinking of shoot moms.
I am too, dude. We got both on the screen right now. We have moms, we got mommies. Jan, I am offended that you promised me moms and you wanted to weasel your way out of this. No, I say nay, sir. I will have my mommy episode.
You're having a mommy episode, all right.
Thank God we didn't have like like Lucy Bailey around the show today. Thank God.
Bailey would be so down for this, don't you?
Yeah, she appreciates mommies.
I mean, on Women's Day, of course.
Of course.
Respectfully.
Because like Grub and I were talking this morning of like, oh, maybe we do an animal draft. Of like,
I still like that a lot. We're gonna do that eventually.
We should do that because we could have the animals in Animal Well. Crash Bandicoot.
Does Yoshi count?
Dinosaurs aren't animals.
Dinosaurs are animals. Does Pikachu count?
That's what I want to know. Are Pokemon animals?
I feel like you can only do, if you're gonna pick a Pokemon in an animal draft, you can only pick one Pokemon.
I like how adamant Mike is, as he just says no. Of course he has a strong opinion about this.
Yeah.
Because like you should only be able, like, if you pick Pikachu, you can't also pick like another Pokemon in your roster.
Okay, that's
fair. Like
I
one per series. That's basically what we do for any
one Pokemon rule.
Yeah, one Pokemon rule. But then Shawn, ever the eager beaver, has set up a little presentation for us today.
That's right. So my question to you all. I have a variety of suggestions. I utilized my powers of the Giant Bomb Twitter account. I asked people. I got some maybe friends of the site to help us out a little bit with this. We got all kinds of moms for everyone to appreciate today because moms are great. We got Mother's Day coming up over the weekend. That's why we're doing this. We're not just horny for no reason.
No, what does that have to do with anything?
Never. No. My question to you all is, what's the format we're doing here? You want to do like a top 5? Do you want to just pick the mom? Like, because we've been doing a lot of Mount Rushmores. I'm not sure if that fits per se.
You don't want to draft moms?
Something about drafting moms and putting a top moms into a top 5 seems tawdry, but something about like
good word
tier ranking them doesn't feel bad for some reason. But
So let's tell the mom how good she is.
Yeah,
like, are you
let's
an
give an
S-tier mommy?
arbitrary rating to the mom instead of
men.
saying, "Hey, we
Yeah.
really like this one."
Let's just not like mom queen, right? Like prom queen. Like let's just
Mom
like
queen.
we're not saying that anyone else is like bad or anything. We're just saying no. You're this year's number one mom, top mom,
Okay,
Yes.
mom of the
Ooh.
year.
mom of the year. Yeah.
I like
Here,
mom
alright.
queen because then that mom would pull a Mean Girls and just break up the tiara and give it to her fellow moms.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
that's
That's what
true.
the good mom's gonna do. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
or in the case of the mom we have on screen here, probably divide it amongst the daughters.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's generosity. My mom used to eat the bad parts of food, or not the bad parts of food, but like,
Crust.
yeah, like, I don't want this piece of chicken anymore because I ate all the skin, mom. And she'll be like, fine, I'll eat it. Okay,
Like
Shawn.
naughty.
We have on the screen here Lady D.
Yes, we do. I want to ask you guys first, do you have any suggestions to throw out there right away that you thought of ahead of time when we were like mulling this over or anything?
The Fratelli's mother from Goonies 2.
Well, I think
Gaming moms.
Gaming
Just-
moms.
Goonies 2 is a video game. It's not a movie. There is no Goonies 2 movie. God, you kids.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that because I'm not ancient, you dinosaur.
Also, it's a joke. Yeah. We're not doing Fratelli's mom.
well, Cooking Mama, there's Bayonetta.
Mhm.
There's certain characters in Catherine that can be mom adjacent.
Depending on how you play that game, yes.
The nurse in Persona 4, or is it Persona 4 or is it 5?
Yeah, like the evil nurse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Persona 4.
not evil to me, buddy.
She a baddie though.
I can fix her. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll defer to you, Shawn, and your mom Pertise.
Cool. Well, obviously, the first one I had on my mind was Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8. I think she's a modern mom that everyone
She's a good
likes.
mother.
Good mother to her children, also a mommy, as the internet has reminded us. Going down the line here, some suggestions that people have brought to us. I think I have mine lined up here first. I have, first of all, your mom from the Pokemon series.
Yeah, that's
First
definitely the one that
person-
came to mind.
Oh,
Yes.
First
Yeah.
person you talk to when you like head out on your way for most journeys and everything,
I like her representation as a mother of like, no, you need to go out there and do your thing. I understand that, but I do still love you and I care you. I'm here. Like I'm here for you. If you want to come home and like just talk, I'm here.
Trust you.
But I still trust you. Yeah.
She's a Pokemon Center in her back pocket, And
Yes.
hey, in some games, she even saves your money for you because she knows that you are bad at that.
Yeah, exactly. I like all that
That's my
stuff.
real mom.
Yeah.
It's really warm, I think. So I definitely think she's up there.
It's
Exactly.
it's a presence that you feel and you're not annoyed with. She's not
Right.
overbearing.
Next, we have Lusamine, also from the Pokemon series, specifically Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, Lusamine is the mom to two of the protagonists of the story who aren't you. Sun and Moon actually has a solid story, maybe not as good as Black and White, but I really enjoyed this. There's a lot going on there. It was really cool to have a Pokemon game that was about the family relationships and maybe even abusive relationships sometime that can heal over time. And I think Lusamine is just a really cool character. And she turns into this at the end of the game, and that's doing a lot for me.
All right then.
She audio listeners, she falls victim to alien goop and things happen.
Yeah, and her hair goes from blonde to brunette. So now you know she's evil.
Brunette, rainbow colored goop, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Last one here from Pokemon. That's not a Pokemon at all. That's Elena Fisher from the Uncharted series. Where did I put the other mom from Pokemon? Oh, I named them wrong. That's why.
Are you okay? Can I guess what the mom you were gonna bring up?
You know what it is. We'll save it. But Elena Fisher from Uncharted. If you played Uncharted 4, becomes a mom eventually.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that now.
Yeah, and she she does a good job of this is before I think they have the kid, but like having the night in where they're making dinner and playing like Crash Bandicoot and stuff. Again, like make it a house that like feels warm and safe and like it's a fun place to be. And then you get that sense like when you do jump forward. Spoiler warning for Uncharted 4, you should have played it already, you bastards. Jumping forward to like when the kid is older, you get the sense just like looking around the house really quickly that has been the status quo ever since. Just like these parents making a really nice home for this kid.
Yeah, I like the way that game ended and what was happening there, and frankly, I think that's why I'm okay Uncharted 4 maybe being it for a while. You know?
Oh, definitely seems that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we actually do have Pokemon next if this works correctly. Kangaskhan.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Top. Definitely top.
She's always looking out for her baby, and you know what? You know what Mega Kangaskhan is? I know Jeff doesn't. The baby comes out of the pouch.
Oh, dang.
That's all they do for Mega Kangaskhan. It's cool though because they can double up attacks now that
Yes.
the baby's out of the pouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Iconic mom, I think.
Definitely. Also, Kangaskhan, normal type mom. Just showing that motherhood. You don't need to be extra fancy. You can just be
No.
a normal mom, and that's enough.
How is this the first time I'm hearing the name Genghis Khan, as in like kangaroo Genghis Khan?
Yes.
That's incredible.
I know.
How are you Pokemon fans not talking about that constantly?
Because every
800
name
more.
is a pun.
I
Jeff.
know, but it's so
Whenever-
this one's so good.
I know, a lot of them are. See, whenever you and Mike like stumble over this stuff, I'm like, yo, it's just a pun. It's just English words or some other stuff.
Man.
Oh,
very good
Mike
stuff.
apparently never realized that.
He just had his Phoenix Down moment.
Grub. Here,
Jesus.
Sean and I could probably bounce off maybe like 2 or 3 Pokemon, but like, what if I told you there is a Pokemon that is a sandcastle or a pile of sand called Palosand?
They're so good at it.
Yeah,
There's
or
also-
like a pile of pig is just a pile of swine.
It's very good.
What about this? There's a Chandelier ghost Pokemon called Chandelure.
Ooh. Yeah, I love it all. I love it.
Okay.
Top tier stuff.
Did you know this one though, Grub? That it's called Squirtle because he has like a squirrel-like tail.
Yeah, I did put that together.
But
Squirtle
also-
is squirrel. Yeah, and then he squirts water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's layers to it. It's all
Yeah, I do always like appreciate that there are these companies. Well, Nintendo, when they help out with the Pokemon company with the translation, always feel like they have to have the triple entendre. Sometimes they challenge themselves.
They're very good at what they do. Sometimes
Yep.
it doesn't always hit, but they're very good.
No,
at what
no,
they do.
Just
definitely,
don't
yeah.
look up the Japanese name for Umbreon.
No, I
Never
won't.
look up the Japanese name for Umbreon.
I know that one.
Moving on, we have some suggestions that I got off of Twitter. First off, pretty obvious one, Mother Brain. From
Oh,
the
that's
Metroid
good.
series.
Oh, did not think of this one.
Now, not a great mother.
Not a good mother.
Yeah.
She's kind of an abusive relationship with anyone who might call her mom.
Right, exactly. Not nurturing, but if you're not gonna be a mother with nurturing, be one with fear, and she definitely has that going for her. So,
Right. And
yeah.
also from the Metroid series, I didn't include this because it's a loose connection, but Samus is kind of a mom because
Yep.
the baby.
the baby.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
She imprinted on her, so he kind of counts there. Next we have a suggestion, the mom from Night in the Woods. I'm sorry if this character has a name. I haven't played the game. I didn't know it.
I've not
but-
played it either, and I
I
regret it.
remember.
Okay. Also the mom from Venba,
Yeah.
which I've heard very good things about. Jan, I believe you played this, right?
Yeah, this almost cracked my top 10 list last year. This is a very emotionally driven game. And I think they recently they're in the process of releasing a little cookbook based off of
Yeah,
the
that sounds
recipes
right.
in the
Yeah.
game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
very
cool.
sweet game. Yeah. All about your relationship with your mom and like how you play as the mom at first and then the perspective shifts to the son pictured
Oh,
here.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like the tale as old as time of like children
Tale as old as time.
outgrowing their parents, and then the parents getting upset about that, and then y'all eventually finding each other through circumstances at the end.
All right. Vanilla the Rabbit, Jeff Grubb's favorite character from the
You know
Sonic
it.
series.
Of course, yeah. I did not know. Oh, I guess she kind of looks mommy in this. I see. She looks like someone's mother.
she's literally Cream the Rabbit's mom. So,
Okay, all right. I just when I looked at these characters, I just assumed that was also Cream the Rabbit. I didn't realize they were distinct, separate characters.
I didn't know Cream the Rabbit had a mom.
Yeah.
What
There you
game
go.
is this from? She from?
She's just, she pops up.
She's there in the ether.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's like, I think she actually may have originated from the anime from Sonic X, but and then they add her into like Sonic Advance because Cream's in there, and yeah, she's popped up.
Cream the
Vanilla-
Rabbit, everyone.
Yeah, Cream the Rabbit and Vanilla the Rabbit, her mom.
Sean
Okay.
did not stutter.
Yes.
He stood
No.
on business.
Let that sink in.
On God.
Oh, God, for real. We have Kazumi from the Tekken series. This
Okay.
is Kazuya Mishima's mom.
Right.
She is a badass because she hired Akuma to go and kill Heihachi.
That's pretty sick.
That's
Yeah.
so sick. That's how they got Akuma into the series.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right? Also, as Marina points out, she wields a tiger, which is pretty badass.
Okay, she brandishes one, is what
Yes.
we're saying. Okay.
She will stick the tiger on you in battle.
That brings a whole new definition to the term tiger mom.
Exactly. We have Sonya Blade from the Mortal Kombat series. Here, we're not going to talk about maybe some of the portrayals of Sonya
Okay,
Blade necessarily, but she is mom.
Not her fault.
She is mom to the best Mortal Kombat character in Cassie Cage.
Yes. Well, wait, what?
Worth pointing out.
Yep. Cassie Cage is great. You're right.
Yeah. But who are you going to say? Sub-Zero? Like a basic?
Yeah. Yes, you got me.
Yeah, I know you. We have Celine from
Oh,
Returnal.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Who is a mom. It doesn't come up often in the story, but, there's stuff related to that in there, so we know she's a mom. Bayonetta, if you played Bayonetta 3, you know that she is a mom eventually. Won't say more than that because I do still want people to play this game, but yeah.
I will play it. I own that game. For some reason, I just never really played it.
I definitely think if you were to ask someone about their Mount Rushmore of moms, Bayonetta would be like on that mountain.
Well, if you said Mount Rushmore of mommies, for
Yeah,
sure.
bare minimum, she's a mommy. I know that.
Oh,
But I think
sure.
some people may not be aware that she has become a mom because they may not play Bayonetta 3 because there were issues with that game.
But if you were a video game character and you could choose anyone to be your mom, I think Bayonetta would be up there.
Yep. Then we have Jesse from Honey Pop. Someone suggested this on behalf of one Mike Minotti, his favorite character.
Thank you,
in the
Mike. There you go. I hope you're happy.
Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
We have the boss from the Metal Gear Solid series, biological mom to Revolver Ocelot, as I recall, and also a mother figure throughout the series to a variety of people, as well as Ava, aka Big Mama, who is the mom of Solid and Liquid.
I gotta replay the Metal Gear games.
Yeah, I need to
Or
play
when
them.
you're-
So good.
When you were talking about doing that, and I know that we have a feature where Dan guided Drew through it. What if we just did it all again?
Yeah, what if we just played them
Yeah,
again?
what if we just did Metal Grub Solid because he hasn't played all his games?
Oh,
Yep,
Metal
yep.
Grub Solid.
Yeah.
I'll start from the beginning. I don't mind.
Fits, yeah. Metal Gear Solid is like timeless. That
Oh,
game's
I
still
love
rules.
Metal Gear
We
Solid. I
gotta
loved
get
it.
you fingerless gloves and like a
Yeah,
headband.
definitely. You guys ever
I'll
see those TikToks where that like Joy Division song plays over it or whatever? Yeah, that's good stuff.
I like that. Metal Gear Janlin. We'll do that. Metal Grub Janlin. There we go. I'll pick up smoking.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You strike me as the kind of person who has at least smoked once in his lifetime.
Yeah, we don't need. We can move on.
Yeah, I believe next we have a couple suggestions from friends of the site. One Steve Kim said Nessa's mom.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Earthbound,
Okay, yeah.
Who is just apparently called Mom, I learned today. They never
rules.
got a name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of similar to the Pokemon mom. Kind of just always looking out for you and everything.
She looks very pleasant.
Mike Minotti said Princess Peach specifically in Super Mario Sunshine, where she says, "I'm your mama." Like she wouldn't remember that happening to Bowser Jr.
That portrayal of her in that game is so fucking weird. It's so
It is real weird.
It's like she has never had a thought before. Is how they write that character in that game. It's bizarre.
It always made me feel weird.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
As a kid, it gave me the ick.
Yeah, for real.
You did. And then we had a few suggestions of Final Fantasy characters. We have Ifalna, Aerith's biological mom, and Elmira, her adoptive mom.
All right.
Both good moms in their own ways, Like it's important that we represent all the different kinds of moms out there. I think these are two very good representations.
Shouts out to adoptive moms doing
Oh,
those
yeah.
work. Yeah.
Yep. We have, of course, my favorite Final Fantasy mom, the immaculately named Claudia Strife.
That is
I know that
powerful
Jeff
name.
loves that one.
Oh yeah, for real.
That's a good gif. That's a good gif.
I know. Look, I know what I'm doing here, Jan. And then following that up is, I think things started to get a little nasty up in here.
Oh,
and
boy.
keeping on the FF7 theme, one John Carson said, Genova, Sephiroth's mom.
Hey, what's going on there?
Did you've played the original FF7, right?
Not really. Played
He's
a little,
also
started
seen
it.
this scene in Rebirth on
I
a stream
did?
that we did with Tam for 4 hours.
Okay. Well, listen, that's a long time. I'm sure I forgot what happened in the middle. I don't know.
Not even the middle.
Right in the middle. 2 hours in,
Pretty
something
early.
like that.
Yeah.
John also mentioned Professor Sada from Pokemon
Okay.
Scarlet specifically. She is one of the main character's moms, and also, one may argue, a mommy.
Yeah.
I like the cave lady look. Is that what?
Yeah. That's
the-
what's going on here. They do
Okay.
future and past stuff, and so if you play Violet and you have the dad, he's a future dude, and if you play Scarlet, you have Sada, who is a cave woman.
I should probably talk to someone about that. Why does that do anything for me? Cave woman.
Well, you probably Flintstones was very informative.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You also hang out with Mike Minotti, who
Yeah.
thinks about the Flintstones constantly.
That's right.
one Alex Van Aken said Sarah Kerrigan, Queen of the Brood Mothers.
Oh, cool.
And here we can see on the cover of the fantastic novel by one Jeff Grubb.
Uh-huh.
Oh, congrats, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's not here.
Oh, okay.
Eric Van Allen suggested Cooking Mama, Jan's
Yes.
favorite mom in
There
video
it is.
gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Classic.
I've never, you know how our homies at GameSpot do expert reacts.
Mm-hmm.
And it's primarily the firearms guy. I want to do a spoof on that, and I guess I could pitch this to them. And I could pitch it and then just approve it. Of maybe we get a chef and reacting to the techniques in Cooking Mama to see if it's similar.
Oh, there are so many
Oh,
games you could do that with. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that, Jan. TM.
TM.
One Jesse Vitelli said Nyx from Hades.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I believe he said, and I quote, mother and mommy.
Yes.
Both. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah, 100%. Someone suggested Link's grandma, who, hey, she's a mom to someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta be a mom to be a grandma.
Yeah.
This, like, my mom is quickly approaching this. I love it. This is my favorite, like, trope of a mom is just like little, old, and brittle.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of the grandma from Unravel, where it's like she's the character at the very beginning there, and then you're like taking her little string, and that's who you're like trying to link her back to her children. Like, yeah, that's cool.
Okay. And then I nominated Democracy, the mother of all that is good in the galaxy.
Yeah, to the motherland of Super Earth, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. No arguments here, buddy.
Exactly.
I would never.
And then, now we did have a couple mommy suggestions. You guys are wrestling people. Who is this?
That's
It's-
mommy.
That's mommy. Yes, that's Rhea Ripley, who is mommy.
I see.
Uh-huh.
I'll just take your word from Jan's. Dear audio listeners, the expression on Jan's face when I brought this picture up should say everything. And then last one here, Eric Van Allen is back to nominate Y'shtola from Final Fantasy XIV, who, as he points out from the manga, Y'shtola is secretly called Mommy among her students.
Well, you did it. You really did it.
Here we are.
Here we are.
I forget most of the moms, so I'm going to struggle to remember which one's
Name
top
100
mom.
women, Jeff Grubb.
I'm
Oh,
busy.
no.
I'm busy that day. I can't.
All right. Who's mom of the year? Who's mom
I
kid?
like Pokemon Mom.
I also like Pokemon Mom. I
Strong
also
pick,
like
strong pick.
Kangaskhan, but Kangaskhan is like Gen 1 Mom. But I do
Yeah.
appreciate the discovery that Jeff Grubb and Mike Minotti had today.
I forget what it was. What was it?
Kangaskhan.
Oh, sure.
Kangaroo,
Yeah. Okay.
Genghis
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
Kazumi and her tiger. I also
oh,
think is a
you know
strong
what?
one.
Uh,
That was my other front runner, actually.
I like that a lot. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
She kind of just wants to beat up her family. You know what? When you're in the ring, crowning the king of the Iron Fist, it's very respectable.
I do like the idea of like the Giant Bomb Twitter account just saying 3 men have decided that Kangaskhan is the mom of the year. That's pretty good.
See now, Jeff, are you thinking about the goofs or the prestige? And we need to remove the goofs
What
from this.
prestige?
Prestige? I'm always thinking about both, Jan. You know me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Our prestige is just nothing but goose. I do like that. But Shawn, I don't remember ever seeing this character in Tekken. So when you just do a combo, she brings out a tiger.
It's one of her moves. Yeah. I believe it's a once per round thing, or maybe I'm mixing up with another character. I'm not a huge Tekken guy, but yeah.
Grub, imagine you were watching a UFC fight, and then someone brings out a tiger.
Okay.
For one move.
I mean, brandishing a tiger and hiring Assassin Akuma. Yeah, let's do it.
Is that it? Is that our front runner right now?
I think that's our mom.
I think it's Pokemon Mom, Kangaskhan, or Kazumi.
Yeah. There we go. We do like Game of the Year where it's like the two runners.
That's
up.
our top 3 bombs.
There it is. Okay, I like it.
Okay, Shawn, do you want to do the honors in crowning the mommies of the year? Of the year.
The moms of the year are in, I guess, no particular order, tied for second and third. Pokemon, Your Mom, as well as also from Pokemon, Kangaskhan, a fantastic pun. And then it seems like we are crowning for a mom of the year, the tiger mommy herself, Kazumi Mishima.
Oh my God, she like does an uppercut and the tiger comes out and is part of the uppercut. That's amazing.
How is this the first time I'm hearing of this? This is amazing. We as a society should stop doing things. We already peaked with Tiger Mom.
Right. And it really makes Sagat look like a bitch because he's like Tiger Flame and it's just fire or whatever.
Him.
Yeah.
What a loser.
What a loser. Get some Tiger Wind uppercut in your move set.
Dan, can you pull that up real quick? Yeah, can people see the tiger uppercut?
Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just do a window cap. Let's do this, and then we'll just grumble away.
Grumbling's like the best thing you can do when you have to do things in OBS. It makes things go faster. I find
it's
OBS works better.
Yeah,
it's a grumble based piece of software.
I'm just gonna save this image. Oh, it's a WebP.
Hey, WebP's working OBS just fine.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's a GIF, I
think so. Yeah. Well, let's find out.
Let's find out together. Why
okay.
Why not? All right, and just bring in this image here. This is great for audio listeners.
Sagat did have a tiger in Street Fighter V. Well, then he should be someone's mother too.
And this image is not okay. Let me just do a window cap.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Don't worry. I'll cut this out of the audio version.
No. Keep it in. Keep it in.
This is beautiful
content.
stuff.
This is when someone is listening to a podcast and they're like, "Oh crap! Like I gotta go do something real quick."
Mm-hmm.
This is your bathroom break podcast.
Yeah, this is peak. I gotta go.
I got my Tetris shirts from 7-Eleven. I'm very happy about that. They look way better than I was expecting. The one shirt is Speedway. Yes, 7-Eleven is Speedway. Apparently, I think 7-Eleven bought Speedway. So yes, a couple of them say 7-Eleven, and the one says Tetris Speedway. There, yeah, look at that. That's amazing.
Look at
that tiger, everybody.
Wow. And you know what? We don't know about this tiger. I mean, maybe we do. This tiger could also be a mom.
That's
right. Yeah, good thinking. So it's double mom.
Kazumi could be the tiger's mom. Could be adopted mom to the tiger.
Wow.
Layers.
Are we? You know what? We don't need to relitigate this because I was gonna posit: is she a bad mom because Jin doesn't seem super cool?
Yeah, but what if the kids' vibes are bad?
The kids' vibes are pretty bad. Just saying.
It could be pretty rancid. All right.
Yeah, she knew Heihachi was a bad dude and hired the biggest badass in fighting games to take him out. So I'm just saying.
Very true.
Protecting the world.
Very true.
Real quick, happy Mother's Day to everybody who celebrates. And if you don't, if the mother stuff is sensitive, hey, take some time to yourself this weekend. Don't even think about this. Get away from it all. And thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it.
Definitely.
Treat yourself to flowers. Treat yourself to chocolates.
Absolutely. You earned it. You really did.
You really did. You really do. And hey, I think that about Shawn. Thank you so much, Big Dog, for putting together this presentation of moms. I deeply appreciate it. And thank you, folks at home, for listening to Bombcast Revengeance. If you've been watching live, tuning in the whole day, hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for hanging. Not anything else happening this week because it's goddamn Friday. We're going to get out of here. We're going to clock out and just relax. And I suggest you do the same. If you missed it yesterday, we had a wonderful episode of Voicemail Dump Truck with our friends Evil Uno and Adam Cole, the Chugs. That Adam Cole guy, huh? What a nice gent.
Seems
Nice
very
gent.
sweet.
Both those
Very sweet.
dudes, just absolute sweethearts on that episode. Very
Yep.
good episode, and I recommend people check out.
Good app, just like everything we do on this freaking website. Everything's a good app. Nothing but banger after banger. Folks, we love and appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend. Make sure to get rest. And hey, if it's nice outside where you're at, go play some golf. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. It's just such different qualities of camera grab.
Yeah.
That it's like it's extra jarring. Tiger Mom is cool. Tiger Mom. Tiger Mom. Oh, that's not our lovely faces. That's Ishtola? Ishtola?
Yeah, Stola.
Yeshtola.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, speaking of chugs, apparently it just went live.
Why did I? Oh God, I gotta do more work after this.
That sounds like bullshit. I wouldn't do that.
I gotta like handle expenses now. What are
Oh,
we
disgusting.
doing? Gross. All right. Let's go to time.is real quick, and then we will.
Right.
All right, I'm there.
clap. I'm here.
And I was recording the whole time.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Let's clap. Beep respectively. 50, 55. Beautiful.
Cool.
Great job, gents. Gonna stop that. Save that. Upload this to a drive.
Stop. Export audio. Export to computer.
Do you think? Oh, we got to remind Akelar to send his thing.
Yes.
I hope he didn't forget to stop recording.
This hard drive's just full now.
I made the folder to drop it in, boyos.
All right.
Meantime, Grub,
VCR.
I can go get the raid going.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's go to the chugs.
Yeah, let's do it. 5,
Um,
10, 20, 24.
Playing Final Fantasy 9. Interesting.
Oh, cool.
You think Adam Cole likes Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, I do.
He's at least open-minded to it, I think.
Yeah. I feel like him and Minotti would become fast friends.
I do. I know
yeah.
they would. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Say hi to the chugs for us. All right. That raid should be getting on the way. Oh, now I'm going to kill YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube.